cost versus recovery unmatchable by a woman, Vidya Balan.
Husband and wife are separated under the same roof and the family is adjusting. These are not conversation that is happening on any other show.
And started growing again and then did very, very well. God bless, I don't want to jinx it. But
I don't think that I called myself a part-time politician then. I was beginning a political journey right from the grassroots, while many actors were parachuting themselves right to top positions. So I was mindful that if you begin a journey from humble foundations, you can build a building which is quite resilient and resolute. What is fascinating is that 25 years later, I come back to a craft with a creator who herself has had a tremendous journey, not restricted to one medium or mode of communication, who has oscillated between many frameworks and is now ready to tell a story on the same medium with a different vertical and a new thought. So I think that this journey is, and this opportunity is also a reflection of how far the creator of the show has come. That the creator became a friend is also a dubious advantage. Because as an actor, 25 years ago, you could speak to the creator of the show from a limited perspective. You had an opinion on a scene, but you never had an opinion on a storyline, because you will never share an opinion on a storyline with the Ekta Kapoor. But after 25 years, it is interesting to watch her get amused when I have opinions on storylines. So for me, the fact that the craft today is presented on a platform which is also witnessing an offshoot on OTT, to me, the fact that the creator has had such a tremendous journey, that is the exciting part of it.
Ekta, you impacted generations, not one generation, of how television was consumed. It was also Kyunki and all the other television that you created almost became a daily habit of domestic, viewing in India. 25 years later, now you've hit the digital screens and Kyunki is back, and back to what numbers? Tell us about this journey.
so I think mediums have changed in the last 25 years. I've done films, television, digital, and every medium has its own challenges, its own euphoria. But nothing in my life ever gave me the euphoria. And I don't think anyone in any medium, and I'm saying this, it's a really modest statement to make, has ever seen euphoria the way Smriti and a few TV actors at that time saw on television. You see, we've not even understood what TV had created as a, it was called the soft ambassador of India, and Smriti was, I remember a speech of Mr. Tharoor where he said, thank you Tulsi for its impact on places like Afghanistan. So for me, when we were bringing the show back, how is it like? It was damn scary. To actually tell now this icon in various fields to come back and work on a medium like television and do a show like Kyonki, I remember me telling Smriti, we have serious thrill issues to do this, to actually go back and do and play in a playground that has changed so dramatically. And if we are anything, we are bold and not scared. And that's exactly why it was so much more fun to come back to a story and to a character and to a medium that people had thought had lost its sheen because of the advent of digital and film. And yet to have that connectivity, so Smriti spoils you for other actors. You give her a scene and she makes your character come more alive than you imagined. And it creates envy in you that someone knows your character better than you, and admiration. And so when I saw Kyonki back on air, like the viewers, I personally also felt, well, I think this will work. TV and our, what TV did for us, this was our simple, humble contribution back to the medium that made me who I am.
Priti, at the turn of the liberalizing, there was also a lot of talk of modernity. And yet Kyuki in its center was about beliefs, family systems, and lot of, collaboration. That is what Tulsi stood for. Do you think there was a diabolism at that time, which today when you look back at the 25 years, or was it abetting a progressive journey, which today you see in women?
I think you presume that we lived in a very dichotomous situation as creator or actor. For me, when I look back at the 25-year journey creatively, 25 years ago, we set standards in ratings. 25 years hence, we are now setting standards in storytelling on the same medium. 25 years ago, we had a producer who had the capacity to tell a story at a slot which was considered dead. 25 years ago, we had a young female producer who took that one opportunity at the tailwinds of a movie legend and made a legend out of a half-an-hour slot. It was never about one character, it was about one family and relationships within it. But what has been the sweet spot that was hit 25 years ago, things like adult literacy were spoken of in a very soft fashion. 25 years ago, things like infidelity, euthanasia were all spoken of in a very soft, with a very soft edge. Since it was not very prominent in the storytelling and it was layered in relationships, not many possibly caught the reference that the creator was possibly exhibiting. 25 years hence, there is a very in-your-face attitude about the storytelling which is currently transpiring. It is about aging. It is about body shaming. It is about a father standing up and saying, I would like my daughter to run the business and not the boys in the family. It is about how complicated marriages get beyond a certain point, how men feel. 25 years ago, it was presented as only what women feel in a family situation. Today, there is a balance between telling the man's side of the story as well. That was not presumed about, let's say, Ekta Kapoor or Kyunki Saas Bhi Kabhi Bahu Thi. So I think that when you talk about liberalization, that is an economic discourse that our country underwent, not out of free will, but out of economic compulsion. There was also this belief that if Ekta Kapoor has made something, it has to be regressive. There was critique which was constructive, which was heeded to. There was critique which was unnecessary just to make the headlines more controversial. The creator and the actor both knew how much credence to give what kind of critique. So like I said, we come back today for a limited series. We come back today to pay homage to the medium. But what I'm extremely thrilled about is that we resonate even in the OTT ecosystem, which was not something that was presumed about us. We were never even considered good enough to be a part of that ecosystem. So today for the OTT ecosystem to have a Saas Bahu show resonate in urban India, that in itself is an anomaly that not many people have grappled with.
Which is the segue that I will get into. You broke such a huge glass ceiling, actually both of you, for also the portrayals, for also the representation and the way women were and how they came out. But you also broke that glass ceiling where you were a woman producer at a time when women were not supposed to be protagonists, finding funding for a program on television and of course later in cinema where the protagonist is a woman, would not find finance, would not get produced, who will come and watch it, were big questions. And here you were, just kicking that door open. Today when you look back, what is it that you see behind you?
I mean, women constitute for half the population of our country. If they're not being represented and not being considered consumers or, should I say, clear, what do you call, we're not serving content for them, then we clearly don't know the size of the market we've been catering to. TV as a medium took that chance to cater to all those women and mirror their emotions, and then from there they got a voice, they watched it, advertising flew into television, the perspective of a female point of view was taken in, a home then took a woman's opinion in various things, and society had such a large change. It would be absolutely dismal and almost stupid of me to not understand this power and take it forward, a step forward in all the movies I made. I still remember when we were making Dirty Picture, I was told, if you're making a film with Vidya Balan and this cast, there is no chance this film will cover costs. You lose about couple of crores, which is a big number at that time. I still remember this was around 2009 when we were greenlighting the project. And I still remember saying, then let me do one thing. I promise you I'll make 4 more shows about women to cover the cost of this show, this movie about a woman. And there was my friend Smriti doing Kyonki in 2008 till 2008, which had been able to give this company a robust budget to take forward this initiative. So you see, the commercial viability was considered by 10 men sitting in the room,
Same commercial viability, which was seen as a question mark in terms of also the budgetary
has become the
constraints.
biggest ROI for Balaji. For 10 years, we never broke that ROI. It did those numbers. Cost versus recovery, unmatchable by a woman, Vidya Balan, and on television, unmatchable by Smriti Irani.
I think what is also essential is how budgets changed for television once Kyunki Saas Bhi Kabhi Bahu Thi kind of took off. The fact that budgets before Kyunki for soaps, for the lack of a better nomenclature, were genuinely very frugal. There was an expectation that if you are an actor of some standard or stature, you should just come and present yourself as a character for the joy of acting. If you're a producer, and especially a female producer, and maybe this is subject to correction by Ekta herself, you should just be grateful for the opportunity of getting a show. And here is somebody who came, yes, knew that she's been given a dead slot, and I've said this incessantly on many platforms, took a story, presented it the way she deemed fit, and then there came a juncture where the production house said, there is a cost to this grandeur. And then, along with this particular stand, came other producers who benefited, who could not present the same kind of story, but they benefited monetarily from the whole, ecosystem that was created. There were writers that started asking for money. Television was not a medium where people leveraged craft for monetary gains. And suddenly everybody, every department said, yes, I think I deserve a decent paycheck. So that is the big shift in television that not many have opined on or reflected on. So I believe that apart from that economic imprint, consumer behavior itself changed. FMCG companies started making ads a bit differently. Slots started getting competed upon. There were people, and I know of FMCG companies that could not afford the slot at 10:30 in the night. And that is why when the afternoon repeat happened, there were many FMCGs who drew budget lines only to fit into that segment. So it was profitable not only to go on air at 10:30 in the night, but even the repeat and repeated repeats have often made money for the network. Now, if there is an equivalence to this craft or this project, let's say the licensing and the economic advantage that a franchise like Friends got for that network is exactly the kind of benefit that we could bring to our network. And I think that is also one aspect that we take pride in, I take pride in, that the production, the network should never lose money on you. They should monetarily benefit so that others get an opportunity to tell stories.
Fantastic to hear this. And do you rarely get an actor who also becomes a minister, becomes an intrinsic part of the governance for more than a decade of this country? And you eventually also became the information and broadcasting ministers. And now that we talk about numbers, You brought a massive change in the way the broadcast was seen and consumed and even positioned in the country. Was it this all, knowledge, this powerhouse of knowledge that you had with all the analysis that we are sitting and doing today? Was it that, or was it a futuristic vision of seeing where broadcast is going to land itself?
I think it is an assimilation of both. My belief is that at one hand, we do celebrate the creative potential of our industry. But on the other hand, we have not capitalized on the sheer force of creativity within our industry from a perspective of markets. The creative economy infrastructure is something that needs deep reflection and impactful investment. There are enough creators today in our country. We are a country of 1,600 dialects, over 125 constitutionally recognized languages. There is enough content, enough platforms, but that creativity needs an infrastructural thrust. For too long, creativity from a perspective of the craft of storytelling was limited to the glory that cinema gets. Television became glorious because suddenly there was a Balaji Telefilms. There have been legendary stories told about how many actors from the entire country would sit on a train and come and stand in front of RK Studios. Sit on a train and come and try and find B.R. Chopra or Yash Chopra. But the only one who could possibly parallel that with kids coming to Mumbai, they were looking for the Balaji Telefilms office. And that is the only female possible example that I see in contemporary Indian creative media. So if we are talking today about empowering our industry, we cannot talk about that empowerment without totally leveraging it as an industry, finding enough capital for it without losing the very soul of creativity.
Ekta, you impacted also the way the actors were looked upon in terms of, it almost became medium agnostic beyond a point. And also it was a wish list of every actor. I was also acting those days. That Balaji is one production house one should work in. Today when you look back, and this all is sounding like nostalgia, but I'm also making it how contemporary narratives are so connected to this whole journey. Today when you look back, that whole industry that you created of almost, it's like a creative economy. It's writers, directors, actors, people who were content creators. Today we call it content. We were talking it programming then, we were calling it films then. Today when you look back, how does it all come together and look like a collaboration to you?
So content has become more democratic, which is the best thing that could happen. There are various mediums. You can have your show, your own performance out on a YouTube, on various platforms, and people have a chance now to the gatekeepers can't control your talent. So the world has opened up to more talent. But personally I feel, and I don't know if it's a right thing to say, I feel television as a medium needs its vigor back. It needs to get back its original aspiration that stood for a story that people would come back every day for. I feel that medium is now about slightly corporatized, and it doesn't have that level of madness that is required. I still think we should create stars out of television. Like there are YouTube stars and there are film stars and there are digital stars. The TV star is now more remembered for the older shows. I still feel that medium has that spark. I still feel, that's why I was saying to Smriti also, that we owe it to TV to give it back that respect. It gave us so much. It goes into every home. It is the only medium where families sit together and can watch something and discuss a character. That character grows with you. We still have the chance to create those stars, and I think we should give something back to that medium, because that medium now stands between all new mediums without its sheen.
I think it's an affordable medium. It is a medium reaching out to 800 million Indians across the country. Television needs its teeth back. That is the problem. Everybody who said that you have to have some shenanigans in the guise of storytelling to get numbers now needs to see how, in the age where new shows shut down quickly, new shows don't make any impact. Here is a show which is 25-year-old, comes back, does in a family, traditional family setup, very contemporary storytelling. It talks about things like body shaming, where most people are trying to put on the best of pink lipsticks and look as glossy as possible. It has a protagonist who supposedly had a 38-year-old marriage. It has an issue where husband and wife are separated under the same roof and the family is adjusting. These are not conversations that is happening on any other show. So many a times when I did ask, why is it that it's lost its teeth? People say, nahi, wo accept nahi karenge. How is it that Kyunki 2.0 is being accepted? Which means that you have to have the tenacity to tell that part of the story. And yes, you have to have a network that gives you that freedom to say, just tell the story.
And coming to the core, it is the narrative of storytelling which is standing out even today. There is one generation which saw you as Tulsi 25 years ago, which is coming back and seeing it. But also there is a whole gamut of aspirational India. The youngsters, look at the numbers that you have, right now on Jio, where you are streaming. How do you connect these two dots?
I think what is fascinating is that none of the actors are known as stars, they are known as actors. That is another aspect of television not many explored. For us, actors were those who emanated out of NSD. Actors are those who are legends like, let's say, Rajpal Yadav. Creators are people not only like Ekta, there's Swanand standing there in one corner. So there was a perspective that there has to be this edginess about that particular creator or that aspect of creativity. Television was not supposed to have that. The fact that we've been treated as actors, that in itself is very different about at least this show. That she's not calling, "Arey, character bulao, junior artist bulao." She's saying, "I need an actor." Which is huge coming from a producer. Producers who are trying to just make sure कि
So
इतने
much
budget में
respect
बन जाए.
for that, because there is today, if Smriti comes back to acting, she can get any international app giving her any amount of money to come. She was not coming, and she only came for the medium and the show that gave her her first chance, or her first few chances. I think that is the emotional. I mean, I don't know if people see. I mean, Smriti Irani came back to television, mind you. Everyone else, you talk to, they're like choosing mediums which are new age. I think it's brilliant. It just, I was like so happy when she said yes.
Also essential that there is this whole system of now stardom, which has crept into even television, which is about entourages. So it is very, for me, I mean, I may sound very tardy in saying this, but it is amazing when my production guy asks me, "Madam, what would you like, which staff would you like me to keep for you?" And I just look at them and say, "Listen, I got trained in the old days of television, so all I need is a plastic chair to sit on." So to understand that your production has to financially at least survive you is very essential, irrespective of the medium. And that is how more and more people in the craft will get an opportunity. So like Ekta says, we came back to tell a story, we came back to say thank you, but we also came back to ensure that others who follow get a very respectful opportunity to tell or retell stories.
Coming to the representation of women, something that you've spoken of a lot, both of you, independent of each other, have spoken about representation of women. Also representation of women in politics, Smriti. We constantly have spoken that India needs more and more women leaders. Leaders, all of them are not polyglots like you. How many languages you speak? Each time you stand on stage, and I've been on quite a few campaigns with Smriti, thousands of people come and congregate, but you speak exactly in the language that that state belongs to. Also beyond that, the kind of communication you've been able to do, this whole journey of the last 11 years, one being a minister, being a member of parliament, uh, also contesting against a big name opposite you, defeating him, you know, and then rising again. This is a journey that is seldom seen. It is a journey which is very, very rare to find. Do you realize how many difficult barricades you have crossed over all these years?
Extremely essential, Vani, that when we go out of the comforts of the ecosystem we all belong to as creative personalities, we recognize that we represent an industry which is often misconstrued or misunderstood. That we are mostly known for the controversies that grab headlines and not for the productivity that the industry is famous for, not for the legendary storytelling which has bridged many a gaps, not for the efforts to tell stories that nobody wanted to bring to light. So when people like me go into, let's say, a political arena, I'm very conscious of the fact that at least when people see me, they say that not every person from the Indian television, movie business, or the media fraternity is, how do I say this politely? Unintelligent.
Yeah.
Is not committed to their constitutional, political, or the social impact that they can create. For me, what was extremely essential was to set an example to say, I am just but one from my fraternity. There are thousands who are far better than me.
But it's rare to
Give-
find an actor becoming a union minister.
Yes,
Let's
but
remember it's a very big
as
underline.
an administration traitor, it was very important for me to let bureaucracy know that we are a thinking lot, we are a committed lot, we are a conscientious lot. And I'm grateful that I had the opportunity to at least represent my industry from that perspective. That when at least I walk through the door, a politician, a bureaucrat knows that this human being means business and knows the business.
Similarly, Ekta, boardrooms were never about women. Women were not seen in those chairs which could, command attention and also represent, for what they stood for. You broke that too. How does your boardroom look like now?
Boardroom has a creche outside. It has a chair, a baby chair. It has women, some aging, some not, some men. It has fluidity in gender, in thought, and it also has what is called commitment from various people. No one is there because he's a man or a woman. He's in that boardroom or she's in that boardroom because they deserve to be there.
Smriti, on a lighter note, people are upset you're trying to age, with this, the new season of Kyunki. And when we look at you like this, the age doesn't show at all because you're frozen in time.
I was trying to age 20 years ago when Ekta did a Tulsi leap and wanted to make me look 60 when I was 27. I still remember the incessant calls Shobha Kapoor would make because I would keep taking a whitener and keep whitening my hair. And Shobha Kapoor would keep telling me, listen, heroine kabhi safed baal wali nahi hoti. And here I was trying to explain that your daughter is writing a part who's 60 years old. I cannot look the 20-something that I am. So there is a very fascinating symbiotic relationship between Shobha Kapoor, the producer, Ekta Kapoor, who's the producer, and the creator. And to ensure that you survive the pull between the two in itself is legendary enough, and I deserve a medal for that more than anything else.
Do you concur with this, Ekta?
I totally agree. One producer only thinks about the finance, one producer only thinks about the creativity, and Smriti has walked that thin line of seeing that I'm creatively satisfied and she's financially satisfied at the same time, and that's why both of us love her.
I think what was fascinating about this character was not known for bindi and sari. This character was not known for some dramatic eye movement. This character was not looked upon from a perspective of how beauteous the character is. This character from day one when it was set, in fact, the first day of my work the director called Ekta. I still remember that director said, throw this kid out, she doesn't know how to act. Ekta went all the way from her office in Juhu to Chandivali Studios just to say, boss, kya kar diya tumne? I said, listen, the director wants me to cry. She said, so what's the problem? I said, but I can't cry very glamorously. If you are hurt, if you're constrained, there'll be a frustration to how you look. There'll be snot coming down your nose. You'll cry in a very haphazard fashion. Your hair will be all over the place. And I said, your guy wants me to talk siski lele ke as though, I'm this crumbling abla nari. So you pick, what do you want me to do? Because as an actor, I think this is how you should play the character. She backed me. And I was just what? Some new kid off the block, 24, 25-year-old. She said, no, do exactly what you think the character should look like. She went and told the director, the kid stays. That's it. The rest is history.
There are so many aspirations that also, fructified with the whole journey of, Tulsi Virani and the family. And today, those aspirations have changed. So now that there is a new, journey which Kyunki has taken, and it's also streaming on OTT, which is democratic, but also the consumption part has changed dramatically in the past, 2 decades and a half. When you look at that, what is it that you want to say, that aspirational part, of
That
the young-
anybody who aspires to be in the industry needs to recognize one thing. Stars come and go, actors stay.
Wow.
So come to the industry.
One round of
If you want
applause
to
for that,
come,
my dear friends.
Come as an actor, come as a writer, come as a creator, be true to the craft, be open to learning. If you're coming for the glamour, then you'll be just a little tiny spark which will wither away and not even be a footnote in the history of entertainment. If you want to create a legacy, be true to your craft.
And what about this momentousness that we are living with? Everything is, as we say in Hindi, kshanabhangur. It's there today and it won't be there tomorrow. If that is the part of the aspiration of how, so many of the youngsters feel, this is where they stand, what would you say to them?
See, what is there today won't be there tomorrow, but what is there tomorrow and what is there today, both should be worth it. At the end of the day, your moment is yours. What you do with it is what you want to do with it. And as I said, every moment will eventually be a memory. And every moment coming will be a dream. So the moment you're living, you've got to make the best of it. I mean, there's nothing else. Kyunki is not about coming back and nostalgia and memory. It's about being relevant today. This moment, this person who's seeing the show, this audience should feel I am seeing something as new and as relevant as probably anything else I would catch in any other medium. I, you, Smriti, were as good as our work today, not even yesterday. Otherwise, you've forgotten somebody better. Like somebody, I always say, no corporate will ever come and take away my job. It will be the other kid in a garage who will come with the other big idea and pull all of us off our stage. So we hold on because there's someone in that garage creating something so amazing.
Finally, it's an iconic journey. And the iconic journey has been creative, it's been progressive, it's been representative, but yet the journey continues. Where does it lead itself to hence?
I think that the best compliment partnership, which is creative in nature, gets is, I always ask my contemporary colleagues now in the craft, can you name one show today that comes back with the same producer, same network, same set of actors 25 years from now? They can't name one such show. And the fact that we could come back 25 years later, it is an indication of what Ekta says. We were as relevant then as we are relevant today. And the only foundation of that relevance is that we are telling stories about families and relationships.
And that doesn't change, but we have to say, to tell this to Uday sir, Kevin sir, and the rest of the network, Shogato and everyone, I can't even tell you. There has been some unheard of support even when in the middle, when we started, because we're saying a new story, a week we went down, and I couldn't even tell you. I had the channel call me up and tell me, no, this is great. The audience has to adjust to this new storytelling, and then how the show went up again and started growing again, and then did very, very well. God bless. I don't want to jinx it, but but at the same time, that point, there was a whole new type of storytelling that the channel wholeheartedly supported. So, I mean, like, thanks to everyone, and I'm just hoping that this limited series, when we leave, people are back to remembering a show came again, and again came back to the same medium with the same team.
I think the audience applause will be so loud and so representative that the limited will become unlimited. And that is what I vouch for.
But we are not unlimited. We are limited. So we need only we can only do limited at this
I
age.
just want to say what Ekta says, the network matters. At the end of the day, the network enabled somebody 25 years ago to set a standard in storytelling. Today, that network enables a democratic opportunity to tell the most contentious parts of this story, and the fact that we all know that we are together walking into the sunset. That's the beauty of it, that there is a definite end to it.
Limited.
So we came in style, and I'm sure when the time comes at that crossroad, we will give our gratitude to our audience and our support base and say goodbye with a lot of grace and gratefulness.
When I look